Hey everybody, coming up tonight on Now, firefighters injured when a roof collapses as they're battling a blaze in Berwick. We'll have a live report with the latest.
And today begins the kickoff of Maine Restaurant Week. I talk with the founder and take you behind the scenes. This is News Center Now.
Mayday! We have two firefighters missing. Mayday!
That was the Mayday call from a fire in Berwick that sent several firefighters to the hospital. Good evening, everybody. I'm Lee Goldberg.
And I'm Amanda Hillen for Lindsay Mills. The crews were battling a fire at an apartment building where a roof collapsed late this morning. Zach Blanchard has been there all afternoon. And Zach, we're still waiting on a press conference, but what's the latest?
Hey, Lee and Amanda. Yeah, we're awaiting that press conference any moment now. As you can see, crews still on scene here, and we have been here for hours. The fire first breaking out at 11 o'clock this morning, quickly going to a 4-alarm fire, and now we're learning 5 firefighters were rushed to a nearby hospital. As you heard with that Mayday call before, there were 2 firefighters calling for a Mayday in that situation. The roof clearly collapsing here, and as we've been here throughout the day, we still don't know much more. Other than that, investigators have been combing the scene. ATF has even been on scene here. We did talk to some neighbors, though, who said they heard the moment when it went to total chaos when those firefighters called for Mayday. Here's how they described that scene.
A bunch of firemen, ambulances, and a lot of people running and getting people out, and a lot of smoke coming out and hollering, "Get out, get out."
Pulling him out of there, trying to get him out. There was pounding on his chest for all it was worth, but his arms were just hanging down. He's like, it was no look, and it was just like he was all smoky looking, and he didn't move at all.
It's a rescue operation to get their comrades out of the 3-story apartment building. Again,
so a totally terrifying scene for them, as well as for more than 50 firefighters who responded to the scene here from 12 departments all across Maine and New Hampshire. Again, that press conference happening at any moment now. We will carry that live right here on air as soon as we learn more. Of course, we don't know anything about the condition of the firefighters. We have a crew standing by at the hospital. We'll check in with them very shortly, but for now, Lee and Amanda, I will send it back to you.
All right, Zach Blanchard live in Berwick. Thanks, Zach.
All right, in other news today, nearly a year after the murder of Somerset County Sheriff's Deputy Eugene Cole, we're finding out what happened that night straight from the alleged killer.
A video of John Williams describing how he shot Cole on April 25th of last year was played in a Cumberland County courtroom this afternoon. Williams is trying to get that confession thrown out. News Center Maine is live at the courthouse with an update. Vivian Lee. Hi, Viv.
Well, Amanda and Lee, those video and audio recordings, 3 hours, there was quite a bit to listen and watch this afternoon, took place following Williams's capture after a massive manhunt. Now, media outlets were not allowed to record any of these interviews because it is considered testimony. Now, lawyers for the 30-year-old contend William was beaten and suffering from opioid withdrawal when he was interviewed by police. The video showed officers reading Williams his Miranda rights, and he agreed to talk without an attorney present. Now, Williams says on the night of April 25th, he had gone to his stepmother's house in Norwalk. Deputy Cole drove by and spotted him in the front yard. Cole asked him his name and said he was under arrest. Williams said Cole reached for his arm and he got away from him and, quote, got a jump on him. Williams said, quote, I brandished a firearm and shot Cole. I didn't plan on it. It just happened. Now, the hearing will resume here at the Cumberland County Courthouse April 8th, and the state plans to call more witnesses, including law enforcement officials. And of course, we'll have much more on Williams' confession and what happened today in court coming up at 5:30 and 6 o'clock. Back to you guys.
All right, Vivian Lee, thank you.
All right, so not 1, but 2 possible storms in the next 3 days. My man Keith, you're lucky I'm still talking to you right now. Come on.
I know you're very excited.
Come
okay,
on.
Unfortunately, we're going to go back to Berwick. We're just getting word the press conference is starting right now.
Chief in Rochester, and he will brief you more on the fire facts. He's also the incident commander of this situation. We would like your camera angles to pick up the Berwick ladder truck that's in the background. So I'm hoping that this is lined up or we can move it to make it work. and they'll have more fire. You know, if you have questions, I'm sure they'll take some of those questions in. I've got about 5 after. We'll finish up whenever you're ready. So how are your timelines? 5 more minutes? Was that good?
Whenever you're ready.
All right, so obviously, as you just heard, the press conference is going to start in about 5 minutes, so let's get back to Keith
Still
and get
setting
that
it
for.
up.
We will go back to that, though, when it starts. Sorry
All
about
right.
that.
Okay, so back to what you were saying. Yes, 2 storms in 3 days. Welcome to the beginning of March. Visible satellite clean today, clean overnight tonight, but here's our storm system number 1 developing down across the mid-Atlantic. Now this first storm, which will move to our south and east on Saturday, is largely a miss, as we discussed yesterday, but it's just going to brush a lot of the coastline and parts of the interior with a little light snow tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon. So overnight tonight, clear. We start clouding up, though, by late tonight, early tomorrow morning, and a little light snow starts to develop along the coastline, building a bit farther westward into Augusta and Lewiston by the late afternoon and early evening. All this stuff is light, but it's cold, so it's relatively fluffy stuff, and then we're going to be moving this out of here on Saturday night. All right, we're going to go back to Berwick now where the press conference begins.
Good afternoon. My name is Joe Thomas. I'm the State Fire Marshal for the state of Maine. I appreciate all of you hanging here with us this afternoon. I know it's taken some time, but there's a reason for it. It's with a heavy heart that I start this information to you with the announcement that this afternoon at this fire, we lost a firefighter in the firefight. Captain Joel Barnes of the Berwick Fire Department succumbed to his injuries that were received in fighting this fire. 4 other firefighters were transported, treated, and have since been released. Obviously, you can see that this was a difficult situation for all of the fire departments that responded to this event. I tip my hat to every single one of them for the work that they put into saving their own, trying to make as much progress as possible, saving any lives of the public who live there, and fortunately for the civilians that were involved, everybody is all right. I do want to make a point that though this is what we do all the time for every one of us in the fire service, when we lose one of our own, it's a difficult time. As far as the details of the event itself and the number of departments that were involved, I'll turn that over to Chief Wilder.
Good evening, everyone. Assistant Chief Tim Wilder from the Rochester, New Hampshire Fire Department. I assisted with the incident command of the scene today. In total, we had just over 16 departments representing 2 different states that arrived today to help out with this fire. We were dispatched originally around 11 o'clock this morning for smoke in the building. Upon arrival, the first companies made entry into the building. Subsequently, as the fire marshal alluded to, we lost a firefighter today. Right now in the process of, as you can see, cleaning up, making sure that the building's secure for the night, as the investigation will be continuing thenceforth. We went to a 4th alarm today, represented 7 communities from Maine, 10 from New Hampshire, multiple EMS, ambulances that helped out in transport, ending all the injured that were injured here on site today. We'll be working through the night with the investigation with all the partners from the Maine State Fire Marshal's Office, New Hampshire State Fire Marshal's Office, the ATF, Berwick Police Department, members of the Berwick Fire Department. On behalf of Chief Plant of the Berwick Fire Department, we ask that everyone keeps all the members, all the people involved here, especially the family of Captain Barnes, in their hearts, as the coming weeks will be tough for all involved as we move forward. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to come back now, and just to recap, in case you missed the beginning of that, that's the fire that happened in Berwick earlier this morning. Captain Joel Barnes out of Berwick passed away as a result of fighting that fire. 4 other firefighters were taken to the hospital, treated, and released. Again, a 4-alarm fire, Maine, New Hampshire responding, and obviously multiple EMS units as well. Our own Zach Blanchard is there. We'll have much more on this, obviously, at News Center Maine at 5:30 and News Center Maine at 6 o'clock. But again, mourning all of us the death of Captain Joel Barnes out of Berwick. So we'll be back with more now right after this. A good friend comes through when you need them most, just like you, right?
Aww.
A woman flying from Houston forgot her bridesmaid dress for her flight to Costa Rica. So her friend, Taylor Kenny, reached out to Southwest Airlines to see if it could be sent on the next flight to Costa Rica. With the help of another friend who dropped it at the airport, the dress is now in the right place at the right time for the wedding. Well,
that's the wrong thing to forget. Yeah.
Takes a village.
All right, a lot of Mainers see deer all the time, but not too many have seen deer like this. Sally Gardner in Falmouth had some rare visitors in her backyard today, a family of deer that included a piebald deer. According to buckmanager.com, these deer suffer from a recessive genetic trait condition found in less than 1% of white-tailed deer. In addition to lacking consistent pigment throughout their bodies, piebald's condition also puts them at risk for deformities like bowing of the nose, short legs, arching spine, and short lower jaws. Oh, so they have problems, but it's so cute. Yeah.
Right? Okay, so we wanted to say that on this day, to celebrate someone who went out of his way to make sure that kids would stay in love with reading and never stray. All right, so not quite Dr. Seuss, but you get the point, right?
Yeah, speaking of Dr. Seuss, though, his birthday is tomorrow, and he would have been 115 years old. To celebrate the legendary author, each and every year at this time, it's Read Across America Day.
Love this day. Today I was at the former Hall School, which is now the brand new and shiny Rowe Elementary School, which, oh, by the way, I went to when I was a kid.
Aww.
I did read for Mrs. Littman and Mrs. St. Clair's class of kids today. We had a blast. Other News Center peeps were spread around the state reading today as well. Adrian Stein read to a first grade class, while our own Jennifer Woodruff read to some kindergarten kids. A good time was had by all as we walked the hall, had a ball, and tried not to fall. All right, I'll stop. That's all.
Oh, nice try, buddy.
Yeah.
Good try.
All right, coming up, another edition of Senioritis Stories. Yep, Maddie the intern. It's getting closer. How do you get ready for those job interviews?
Yeah, and another storm headed our way. In fact, 2 of them. Keith Carson is in with the details.
All right, Maine Restaurant Week starts today. It's a 12-day celebration. Started back in 2008 to kind of help people drum up business during winter when it's not always super busy and people going out.
Exactly. A lot of locals take advantage of this, try out the new dishes. But did you know that a lot of people actually fly into Maine and stay for the entire week just to get a taste of what Maine has to offer? Cameron O'Brien sat down with the founder of Maine Restaurant Week.
In 2008, Jim Britt was looking for ways to boost Maine's economy in the dead of winter.
Restaurant Week was born of a need for some extra business for restaurants during winter. We'd see servers getting laid off and cooks being laid off, and then restaurants reinventing themselves in the spring to get ready for summer. It's tough.
The idea? To have a restaurant serve a multi-course menu at a fixed price ranging from $25 to $55. At first, the plan drew skepticism from established chefs like David Turrent.
Well, we're going to take one of the worst weeks of the year and turn it into one of the best weeks of the year. And I'm like, yeah, sure you are. But they did. They succeeded. And it really has turned into, it's actually, some years it's been the busiest week we've had in the whole year.
In the last decade, Maine Restaurant Week drastically expanded its numbers of visitors and participating restaurants. But with that expansion came a call for inclusivity.
Hey, wait a minute, there's nothing here I can eat. And that's when we saw the light bulb, or the light bulb went on.
30% of the people walking into your restaurant have got something that they want to alter on your menu. So it's vitally important that we are prepared to do that, and we have people trained with the answers and that we know how to get it done.
Jim hopes locals and out-of-towners alike appreciate all of the talent the Pine Tree State has to offer.
When you love what you do, you can taste it. And I think that's a big draw. When people come from Ohio to this sleepy little Portland, Maine, and discover these amazing restaurants, that it isn't like that where they live.
So Cam's going to be tackling Maine Restaurant Week. Tough assignment, head on.
Sounds
right?
awful, yeah.
Every single day she's going to find different allergy-free plates all across the state, so make sure you tune in for that. I feel like I will be an active participant in Maine Restaurant Week.
Yes.
I'd like to get out and.
Yes, I
and
usually am.
I always go to the same places. I would love to try new places. Like I feel like I want to do that, and yet I never do.
There's so many good restaurants in Maine that you feel guilty repeating. I do. A little
Yeah,
bit.
I do. For
With, like,
sure.
the
I
classics.
don't, because I love mine so much that
Yeah.
I'm happy
Well, it's
to
good to
stay in my
Some of the ones that have been
rotation.
around for a while, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was telling you
If
guys.
I got invited to a new place, I would go. Like if you
Oh, I
want to
see what
invite
you're getting
me,
at.
I'm saying I would go with you.
Somehow I feel like I'm paying for this.
Yeah, but you'll expense it.
You
That's
expense it.
I
It's
will.
fine. Oh, twins.
Haven't got rejected yet. All right, here's a look at the satellite. Nice sunny day today, bright temperatures in the mid-30s, and we're going to be clear through overnight tonight. But we're watching our first of 2 storm systems over the next 3 days. And so March, transitional time period, right, by default in the beginning of March has been strong for us the past couple of years. That's the case here. Here's our next storm system. Most of it will miss. This is something we talked about yesterday, but there'll be just enough on the northwestern extent to give us a little light snow through tomorrow afternoon. Right now, right around freezing. It's not going to be an overly cold night tonight. In fact, temperatures hold for a while before getting down into the teens. By tomorrow morning, we're cloudy, and then the storm, largely out to sea, will just brush by coastal Maine into interior Maine and not really impact the mountains and northern Maine because of the position of it. Notice by the afternoon, we've got some light snow going all the way through the coastline and into Bangor, into Augusta, into Lewiston and Fryeburg, just very, very light stuff there. That continues through the afternoon and early evening, tries to expand a bit tomorrow night, and then kind of gets sucked back with the parent low on late Saturday night into Sunday. Sunday is actually a pretty nice day, partly cloudy, temperatures in the mid-30s, and then here comes another storm, Sunday night, Monday. This one has more potential. It's a bigger storm. It's farther west, closer to us. And so right now it looks like it'll be snowing pretty hard overnight, late Sunday into early Monday, snowing through much of the day on Monday before clearing out on Monday night. The devil, of course, in the details. So let's start with map number 1. This is for tomorrow. 1 to 3 inches, a little bullseye of 3 to 5 over southern parts of York County, and then less than an inch for the foothills, mountains, and across northern Maine. They'll just be too far away from the storm. This is where our weather weenie infighting was occurring. So what's going on right now with Monday is that the European model crushes us. It's a ton of snow. But a couple of the other global models don't have as big a hit. So this is our compromise early forecast of 6+ inches and then 3+ into the mountains and across northern Maine. The potential is there for it to be more, but I just don't want to sink 100% into it in case we get a little wiggle there. We should have that nailed down tomorrow morning when it's dealing with storm number 1. So, wait a second, this is the wrong forecast. Let me go to the next one.
Oh. What's
shoot.
happening here, Keith?
Jess.
Oh.
That was the
That's
morning.
what happens when you guys argue.
That was the morning forecast. But you got the point. Some snow tomorrow and then another storm on Monday that has potential to be larger. So.
Right.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Your
Yeah,
favorite.
You guys went to college, same college, right?
We did.
At the same time, too?
Roughly. She's a little younger.
Do you, well, a lot younger. But do you remember, like, when you had to like get ready for interviewing, graduating college, and like what was going to be coming up next?
Yeah.
Okay, so that can be very stressful. That's the topic of tonight's Senioritis Stories with Maddie the intern. Because now that we're at March, we're closer to May, and that means the end of school and real life begins. Take a look.
The first big interview can bring on mixed emotions, from excitement to nervousness. Everyone's experience will be different. Some of us will crush the interview the first time. Crushed it. Others, maybe not.
Things don't always go as planned, and that is okay.
Being prepared will help you have a fighting chance. I talked with Rebecca Bell, who works with students to prepare them for life after college, to get some tips for overcoming those pre-interview nerves.
So there's 3 things I would recommend. The first is making sure you do your research, not just on the organization, but on who you're going to be meeting with specifically. If you don't know ahead of time, at least be sure that you've done as much research as you can on the organization. Second, I would say you need to be kind of in interview mode from the time you leave the house to go to the interview until you get home. I've heard stories of people cutting someone off in traffic, and then it turned out that that was the interviewer.
Floor it? No, don't floor it. Okay, floor it.
And when you're waiting in the lobby, you want to make sure that you're not looking at your phone and slouching in the chair. Really kind of be on your best presentation that whole time that you're in that mode.
You'll thank me later.
third tip I would say is the power posing. I think, you know, there's something to be said about getting your adrenaline running. Go into the bathroom ahead of time, you know, put your hands up or you're on your hips, a superwoman, and really just make sure that you go in feeling confident, because if you're confident, you're going to project that to the people that you're talking to.
You is smart. You is important.
So you can learn a lot from the interview process, and even if an interview doesn't go well, you can learn a lot from that. And so it's important to kind of go over in your head what you think went well, what you could improve on, so that the next time you have an interview, you can not make the same mistake twice.
I don't know about you, but senioritis is really starting to hit me. Next week, we'll talk about how to sell your skills to potential employers. So do your Superman pose, and I'll see you next Friday at 5.
I think we're crushing this, Lee.
I feel like I'm going to get the job.
I think we're
I feel
crushing
good.
it.
That's great advice.
All right. Hey,
I think
we
I
got
pulled something.
Yeah, got a lot more news coming up at 5:30 in just a few minutes. Rob Caldwell is in for Cindy tonight with more. Rob.
Hi, Amanda and Lee. It's been a grim day in Berwick. The state fire marshal just announced a few minutes ago that a firefighter has died from injuries he received while battling an apartment fire there this morning. Zach Blanchard is on the scene and will tell us just what went wrong. Also coming up, today was the second day in court for John Williams. He's the man accused of killing a sheriff's deputy in Maine last year. A key issue for the judge, should the accused's confession be thrown out? We've got those stories and a lot more all ahead on News Center at 5:30.
All right.
Amanda?
Rob, thank you.
We're back with more right after this.
We got a lot of science here, so we're going to go quickly. All right, so each one of this looks like a lot of information, right? This is 26 different snowfall forecasts from the European model. So sometimes you'll hear me talk about ensemble weather forecasting. What this is the European puts out a model output every day, 4 times a day. But within that, it runs 51 different versions of the model. And it says, okay, maybe we're wrong about the initial temperature. What happens in the future if we're wrong about the initial temperature? What if we're wrong about the initial pressure of this system? What happens in the future in that case? And it runs all these different iterations of the model. What this does, it gives you an idea of certainty of the forecast. So in the case of tomorrow's light snow event, see how some of them here, that's 6 inches for the coastline. And then others, like this one here, almost nothing. So it gives you a good idea of how locked in a model is on a particular forecast. Hence, some of the uncertainty as we talk about Monday is these models are not all put together. This is a longer brain drops at some point, but it's kind of a advanced nerd forecasting thing.
Okay.
Amanda, you like it?
I picked the one that gives us 0.
Do you have that as wallpaper on your phone? I think I saw that.
No, it's on my wall at home.
News Center Maine at 5:30 starts
right now.